Okay. Okay. So I'm waiting to see who comes today. And while I'm waiting, I got a couple of minutes. I'm trying to see if I can do anything about my video settings. I mean, this cat picture is great, but I'd like to. I have a really nice webcam I bought, but it hasn't been working since 2, 3 months now, and I've been finally never got around to getting it fixed. And I told myself today was the day to do that, and I got through a bunch of other things, but I didn't get through this today. Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna have to let go of the nice webcam, but I got this webcam. It ain't the end of the world. So there you go. Okay, let's see. Let me move this around a little bit. Just 1 second. 1 second. Also, I'm in classes, and I like to. I'm so sick of being in Zoom classes. So what I've been doing is I keep the camera kind of like this, so that way I can like lift weights and stuff, so no one can see me. I'm just like this the whole time, and it looks like I'm paying attention, but the whole time I'm lifting weights the whole time, and you just can't tell. Well, that's fine. I'll do this today. Okay. Well, it's 5:05, so, as customary, I like to wait about 5 minutes and then get started with class. So if you're watching this, welcome. Welcome. This is Beginner Emotions for Dummies. And I am the creator and host of Emotions for Dummies, Dr. Donnie. So I'll give you a bit about me. I am a sociology professor at CSU East Bay in Hayward, California. I'm born and raised in Louisiana, though, so I'm very much a Louisianian. That's a very big part of my identity. Just want to say that. But I live in California, and I'm a sociologist. And in the process of my work on youth inequality, or what's called adultism, I got into this thing called social emotional learning, which is all about learning how to get in touch with your feelings. I am also a 20-year meditation practitioner. I started off in Zen and moved into Mahayana. And then now like I said, now I do social emotional learning. Meditation is for the purpose of getting in touch with feelings. I use meditation to get in touch with feelings these days. It's kind of spiritual there, but it's more about getting in touch with your feelings instead of kind of bypassing your feelings to look peaceful, which is what is called spiritual bypassing, which is a very big thing in many spiritual communities, which is very popular here in the Bay Area. I just want to just say that too. With love, I want to say that with love. And so I'm doing these classes, which is all about helping people get in touch with their feelings. I have 3 courses. One is a beginner Emotions for Dummies. The other one is a regular Emotions for Dummies, and then an advanced Emotions for Dummies. So if you're interested, go look me up on Meetup. I'm going to post Eventbrite and a few other places, but look me up on Meetup to get the Zoom link, and feel free to come to class. The one thing about this class is it's a laid back space for you to get in touch with your feelings, get some validation and tools to help you get in touch with those feelings. And we're going to learn how to get in touch with those feelings in a step-by-step process. Each week we'll learn an exercise. That exercise you can practice, and then the following week we will have another exercise that you can practice that will build on the previous exercise. Okay, so that way by the end of 1 month, which is the end of 1 course, 4 classes, you will have learned a bunch of tools that you can use and apply to your life. And you will learn those tools and have, you'll know everything I know. And you can take those tools and apply them, bend them, figure out ways to make them work for you, all sorts of creative things you can do once you learn this information. Okay. I am the author of a workbook that I just recently completed called The Book of You, a social emotional workbook for adults. And all my classes come from this workbook. And so beginner class comes from this workbook. If you make it to the advanced class, I will give you the workbook. Okay, but I feel like until you make it to the advanced class, you might want some guidance. You really should get some guidance on all these things. Okay, so that's what I'm here for, is to help guide people through that. So if you have any issues going on in your life whatsoever around your feelings, please come. bring friends. Yeah, please come, please come. We can always work on whatever it is you're feeling here in class. And, I'm recording all this so that way, people can come to class, but, I always take whoever comes. So if you come with an actual problem, we will completely sit and focus on your problem, okay? We will run our exercises through your problem. You're welcome to open up as much or as little as you want. Excuse me. That is your business, okay? Okay, but I do want you to know the space is here. Okay, so first things first, let's take a look at the workbook. Let's take a look at the workbook. Okay, somewhere, this was me trying to figure out how to get this camera to work. At some point I have got to figure out how to fix this camera, but anyway, so here we go. So here's the workbook. So my regular class is called Emotions for Dummies, and I slapped the green beginner on here to make it clear it's the beginner class, okay? And I want to make it really clear because you might be hearing the phrase dummies and having some kind of reaction to that. So I just want to make it clear the number one person who is the biggest dummy always is yours truly, okay? I had to write a whole workbook to get in touch with my feelings, okay? So just know if you ever have a hard time with your feelings or if you feel like a dummy, you are not alone, okay? Okay, so here's my my name, which I should just say I got my name legally changed to Dr. Donnie, but previously it was Donovan Keats Caesar. That's my email address in case you want to contact me. This is the link to which the document is located. And this is for my 4-week social emotional learning course, Beginner Emotions for Dummies. Okay. So let's take a look at the table of contents. Oh, and as I mentioned, it's important for you to be comfortable, okay? So whatever you need to be comfortable in this class, please do it. You don't have to turn your camera on. You just have to listen. Sometimes you don't even have to read, really. I mean, I'm going to read all these things, so you can just meditate or get in touch with your feelings if that's what works for you. Keeping your eyes open or closed, that's your business. I made myself some tea. I don't know if you can see it though. There you go. I made myself some tea earlier. That's nice. It's that this tea is called lobelia. Lobelia. I saw it mentioned on a TV show. It's supposed to help people with addictions, which I don't. Well, I mean, I smoke weed and stuff, but I bought this huge ass bag because I was super curious to see what it tastes like, and so anyway, I made some lobelia tea. Okay, so let's take a look at this table of contents. Week 1, which is this week, we are going to go through our self-care plan. So I'm going to explain what self-care is, and we're going to go into some great detail about self-care. And then we're going to go into an emotions list. So in case you've never seen an emotions list, or you just, struggle with putting feelings to words, we're going to look at a list of emotions, okay? And that's all we're going to do today, okay? 2, we're going to spend an hour on one and an hour on the other. And as you can see, as weeks progress, next week we're going to do mindfulness meditation and an exercise on telling yourself the truth. Then on week 3, we have a meditation on emotions. So we're going to just directly go right into meditating on emotions. And there's a body scan meditation, which is a really in-depth meditation around your body. Okay. And then finally, week 4 is the put it all together week, where we do self-love, acceptance, and validation. Okay, so I don't know if you totally can see it looking at this, but step by step, this all builds on itself. So that way, by week 4, you have an exercise that really can get to the heart of what's going on inside. Okay. Oh, and welcome to anybody who's coming. Anybody new? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let me get you the link. Let me get you the link to this workbook.
It only shows me and then you on Zoom.
Does it now? Well, it only shows you on Zoom. I can't even see me.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Well, I think that's because you're the only people here. Although, what happened to me? Where did I go? Oh, there I am. Ah, I must have pressed the button. Well, just so you know, the recording only actually shows my face. So it doesn't really, you don't have to worry about your face anyway, but your camera's not on. But there was someone else who came and had that concern. So so there's the link to the workbook here. And I'm here explaining the table of contents. And I should also just say, this class is all about your feelings, right? So an important part of the class is, I'm just gonna ask. Well, actually, before I get there, let's keep reading. I think that's a part of the workbook, actually. So I'm at the about this workbook section. So I'm going to read this section here, okay? And like I said, just before you came, if you want to read along, feel free. The most important part is to get comfortable. And if you don't want to read along, you can just listen to the sound of my voice, okay? Some of us have been zoomed to death and can't read anymore, okay? So I get that. Okay, so this is the About This Workbook section. This is a workbook dedicated to examining your thoughts and feelings. In particular, this workbook uses mindfulness meditation, visualizations, and inquiry to create a self-help platform that can aid anyone in need of healing their inner life. Extensive measures were taken to apply this material to a developmental perspective so that the effect of childhood socialization and its role in cognitive distortions could be central to understanding our life history. Equally so, a great effort was made to collect material from a trauma-informed perspective, one that acknowledges the complex after effects of abuse and neglect. Because both of these concerns relate to unhealthy relationships, a third concern was to address the role of healthy boundaries throughout this work. This is a workbook precisely because emotions need to be experienced in order to learn from them. Each exercise is meant to be read and then to engage in meditation or writing about feelings. Meditation is literally engaging in the experience of ourselves, turning ourselves into knowledge. Free writing allows us to bypass our consciousness and access our subconscious emotional mind. While I designed this workbook for my college courses, it's my deepest hope that this resource can be used by anyone who is dealing with their feelings, hard times, or troubling thoughts. Okay, some trigger warnings right off the bat here. Because this workbook is about emotions, expect your feelings to be triggered. All sorts of feelings are going to come up in this process. If any of those feelings are too difficult, it's important to develop your own self-care plan for your emotions, which is what we're going to do right after this. If you have been through anything you would define as traumatic, and who hasn't, take special care to only take on what you can handle, including if you want to close your eyes or not. See this workbook as like a toolbox, and each exercise is a hammer, a screwdriver, or a saw that can be used to deconstruct and rebuild your inner life. But like all tools, you can also damage yourself if you are not careful. All of these resources are made with the focus of learning how to love ourselves and build our ability to feel. Not to just feel bad, beat ourselves up, or re-traumatize ourselves. Pick topics that range lower on your trigger scale and save the harder things for when you have practiced these exercises a bit. Please know this may also mean having to learn a great deal of patience. Finally, this workbook is not a substitution for therapy or crisis care. If you feel you need the long-term help of a licensed professional, please access a psychologist, therapist, counselor, or confidant of your choice. If you are in a crisis and in need of help, please access a crisis center who can help you find resources or call emergency services, such as the police, a hospital, or dial 911. And for the record, I have a master's in psychology, cognitive psychology, and I am currently earning another master's in counseling as we speak, but I am not a licensed counselor. I'll make that very clear. I'm a social emotional learning teacher. Okay, so as a student, here's the instructions. I will always begin each class by asking, how are we feeling today? And I will always wait for an answer. Your response or no response is always your choice. Since this is about expressing feelings, I'm going to press for an answer as the term progresses. So let's start there. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling okay. Not really much. I mean, I'm currently not in the Bay Area right now. I'm a college student in the East Coast right now.
Hmm.
But I mean, I'm just adjusting, and it seems like no one else is here other than you and I, just as two participants.
Hmm. How'd that make you feel?
It felt like, wow, no one's here. I thought I was going to talk to other peers as well.
Hmm. Hmm. Interesting. Okay. Okay. Well, welcome and welcome East Coast. I used to live in Jersey for a short time, so I'm aware of the East Coast there. And this class, people come when they come, some days there's people, some days there's nobody, some days there's one person, and I will always work with whoever is here. And to be honest with you, a lot of the class, there's some sharing that goes on, but a lot of it's more just you getting in touch with your feelings more than anything else. So what a wonderful opportunity for you to get some feeling.
You're a professor at CSUEB because this came as a CSUEB link.
Yes, I'm a professor at CSU East Bay, which is in Hayward, California. Yeah. Do you have some other questions?
I mean, that's all I really had.
Oh, okay. So yes, I'm a sociology professor, and I got into social emotional learning, and now I'm teaching all these classes. And I put this whole workbook together because this was my process of helping me get through the difficult things I was getting through in my life. Yeah, with my family and all these other things. Okay, well, let's keep reading. Each worksheet is designed to be read aloud first, and then to engage in an exercise. Because I want you to dig deep, I will usually read my own examples out loud to everyone. There will be time after each exercise to discuss things. Because of the difficulty of learning emotions, not to mention also getting your education, after each exercise, I will always say, even if you're not feeling like digging into things today, the take home message is blank. Also, whether you felt something good, nice, or loving, or if you felt something painful, gross, or depressing, it's okay because we are learning how to feel. It's good to feel. Hopefully, these words help you develop patience and let you know that you are not alone. Okay, good stuff. So here we go. Self-care plan. This is a whole class about feelings. So feelings are going to come up constantly. We need to figure out how we're going to deal with that, right? We need a plan for that. And so as you can see here, there's a bunch of categories: physical, psychological, mental, relational. And underneath it, it has honest, go-to, and healthier options. All right. When you get down here, it says, when I feel something I can't handle, honest, go-to, and healthier option. When I can tell I'm about to cry, then there's some other questions. What do you want to work on? What's getting in your way? What triggers you easily? What negative strategies do you want to avoid? And any other important things to your self-care. Pick me up quote, affirmations, doodles, that sort of thing. Okay, and then after that page, there is the most informative page of self-care I have ever seen in my life. I put together 4 infographics on one page. So let's take a look. This here has 8 dimensions of self-care. Let's start with emotive. So how do you express yourself? Let's just pause for a second though and just think about this for a second here. There's some examples actually on this one. How do you express yourself? How do you express yourself? Just think about that for a second. When it comes to self-care, expressing yourself, what do you do to express yourself,
Let's see. So I'm very much mask off when it comes to the emotive portion. Like I'll say, look, let's give an example. Look, I'm not feeling very well right now. I'm mad. Just don't say anything, or I really don't know. I don't like how this is going. Just leave me alone. Nothing's gonna happen. Or I'm having a bad day. Can you just leave me alone? Or something along the lines of that. I'm very much upfront as much as I can with my peers. And it's not like I take my anger out on people, because that's evidently not emotional intelligence or intelligent in this grammatical sense. But I usually tell people, I'm like, hey, I don't really like the way you're doing this. And then I just wait. If they do it the second time, I'll repeat it again. Third time, then I will go off. I usually give people warnings if they do something that bugs me.
Okay. Okay. So you let people know, you make it clear your boundaries are, you tell people to get away from you what bugs you. Okay. And then the other question is, what would be a healthier option? Just to imagine, what would something healthier be?
I mean, reduce the amount of yelling I do on the third strike, because I'm pretty much upfront if someone is not treating me the way I want to be treated, rather than some people who do the worst way, which is talking behind other people's backs or saying hateful stuff behind other people's backs, or doing the worst is yelling at the third strike without even giving the first two warnings. So I usually give two warnings. The first one's usually a calmer, hey man, I don't really like the way this is going. Second one, tone it up. Third, if it's really that extreme, then I'll have to start yelling.
Okay. Okay. So you're very aware of your process. And then a healthier thing would be maybe on the third strike, not to yell so much.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So that's a great thing to put here. That's exactly what you got. That is your process right there. Okay. Okay. Now we're not going to go through all of these. You can fill it out on your own, but we're going to just keep this dialogue going here. Let's pick another category. So there's luminescence, which is how do you illuminate your inner truth? Financial, how do you allocate your resources? Cognitive, how do you think? Attitudinal, how do you contribute to the world? Relational, how do you connect with others? Environmental, how do you harmonize with nature? And systemic, which is how do you eat, move, and rest? Since you had so much to say about the emotive part, let's pick one more. Let's pick another one here.
Cognitive, I'd say. Basically, for example, if I'm in a bad day, I don't just go out and throw my anger on others. I usually do critical analysis. Or if someone is just doing something ignorant according to me, I use some critical analysis, and I don't go out my way and try to demean them unless they're at that moment that they're not willing to listen. In addition, I don't waste my time on those who are unwilling to listen, because there's only so much of people who are willing to what's it called? Like, if they're mistreating me, most people are saying, okay, we're not going to do that. But some are those who are willing to go and put salt on the wounds. Those people, I know I will never get to change their minds. Either A, I'll have to ignore them, or B, get a professional to separate, put a divider or 6 feet distance, as one would say.
Okay. Okay. And that's your process. And what would be the healthier option?
Really can't think of anything, because I am critically and analyzing like the good and the bad. It's like a cost benefit analysis in math, or not math, economics, or like that. I just analyze the situation. You have to know what to say, what not to say in certain social situations. You obviously have to know. You gain the empathy because you gain empathy through critical analysis, basically. If you're like a 5-year-old, you won't understand if someone's not feeling well. But if you are like older, or you analyze the situation before saying anything, then you gain the E word. Nobody wants to say the E word, but that's kind of my easy way to put it. I just say critical analysis. You analyze, and then you don't say anything bad or whatever.
Now, what's the E word, by the way?
Empathy.
Oh, okay.
Because some people don't like that word. I usually say critical analysis or decency. So basically, it is critical thinking skills. You critically now analyze, and you can tell with that what to say, what not to say, what'll make someone who's vulnerable feel worse, vice versa. So it really comes down to decency and critical analysis.
Now, you're absolutely right. And an important part of this is the self-care plan. So I just want to note that it's an important part here is to write down what you honestly do, which you're very good at it here. But I also hear a lot of sort of justifying what you do as well. There's a lot of, well, of course it's right. And that's fine. I just want to point out that the justification is nowhere here on the page, okay? Justification isn't part of your self-care plan.
Yeah.
You just need to know what it is you actually do and to spend at least 1 second of time thinking about anything that you said. Could anything you said be one notch healthier? Anything. Anything but your cognitive?
Cognitive. I can't really think of anything.
Okay. So as you're filling this out, write down your honest go-tos, note them down, and if you really can't think of anything, you might just want to just have a moment, sit with that for a second, For one, hey, giving yourself some patience or stillness, time to think, time to analyze better. All those things can be maybe healthier options, right?
I'd say wait an extra 10 seconds then.
Hey, there you go.
There we go. Yeah, that works.
That sounds great. I mean, we're not saying, hey, you need to change your life in any way, shape, or form. I'm just saying, what would a healthier option be, right? I'm a college professor.
Yeah.
I use my brain all the time to put things together, and I'm very successful at what I do, and I'm really happy about that. Now, what would be the one slightly healthier option? You know what? I don't have to work on Saturday. I could decide to actually relax on Saturday, so I'd be more productive during the week.
Yeah.
That's honest. Okay. So a big part of this is how honest can we be with ourselves, right? That's a big part of this. That's how we're going to have to really take care of ourselves, by being honest. So here's some ideas to help you think about what could be healthier things to do. I just want to name some of these and see if anything flies, anything connects for you. But for the emotional one, it says cry, laugh, self-love, find a hobby, self-compassion, practice forgiveness, buy yourself a gift. Psychological stuff, self-reflection, self-awareness, therapy, draw, paint, write in a journal, relax outside, ask for and receive help, or practice asking for and receiving help. Let me give you one more here, some of the professional self-care, set boundaries. I just gave an example. This is for me, set boundaries, take time for lunch, leave work at home, learn to say no. Okay.
Use a stress ball while at work.
Grab a stress ball. Oh, that's a great one.
Yeah. Great
one. I also was a big believer in getting self-care toys to help you deal with your stress. Okay, I got little toys too. Absolutely. And the nice thing about all these is it's not complicated. It's not get another degree. it's just give yourself a hug. Okay, it's really that simple. Really that simple. Make it even simpler in case I ever have children who take this class. I got things you can do in school too, things children can do. Okay, so when I'm angry, sad, or upset, I can read a book, play, run with friends, take a walk. Hey, it says use a stress ball. Oh my God, that's great. Eat a fruit, color with a crayon, kick a ball. Hey, where's my ball? Hold up.
Yeah.
Forgive, let go, draw or doodle, stretch. And then this other one says, when I feel upset or sad at school, I can count to 10 and back with my breath, roll my neck and shoulders, rest my head on a desk for a moment or two, push my palms together, cross my arms in front of them and do an arm pretzel.
Yeah.
Rub my temples, eat a snack. Eat a snack. I mean, make some tea. Make some tea.
But I think a lot of this stuff has to do with being open to yourself, your acquaintances, friends, family, etc., and being kind to yourself and to others. That really is what it comes down to.
Yeah, being kind to yourself, opening up and being kind. Those are two huge things you can do to get in touch with your feelings, to make life better for you, to know who you are. Absolutely. Absolutely. That
I'd
is
say
the
it's
name.
bigger among families, like families with children and stuff. The kid doesn't have to like act. The parents don't have to let it all out of nowhere. They could say, "Look, please don't bother me at this time. I am not feeling very well," along the lines of that sort of stuff like that. But unfortunately, many people learn that skill a lot late.
Unfortunately, that is the truth of it. OMG.
They learn when it's too late. When they're like 50, 60 years old, they realize it, and then they get regret. Just put it that way.
Well, we can never know it's too late. There's just now. There's only now. So we start now, right? Yeah.
Fortunately, it is getting better now, but oh my God, it was ruthless probably a long time ago.
Maybe. Yeah, I do feel like people are getting much more social emotional awareness, but we have a long way to go. We have a long way to go.
Obviously, yeah.
Yeah. And hey, even if it shows up at 50, you know what? 50 to 60 might be the best 10 years of your life, you know? If you finally get in touch, you can do all the things with your grandkids or great grandkids that you couldn't do before. And that's the way of it. That's the way of it. Yeah. Sooner, whenever it comes, whenever the help comes, whenever the love comes, it's when it comes. And so that brings us to this. That brings us to this. When I feel something I can't handle, what is my honest go-to? What's your honest go-to?
Could you repeat it?
When I feel something I can't handle.
If I'm around people, I say, give me a few minutes, I'll come back again. If I'm in my room, I probably just go watch a YouTube video or drink some water and then come back.
Okay, honest. And what would be a healthier option?
Go out longer rather than just 5 minutes.
Yeah. And what would that do for you?
That'll get my brain in check, and I'll have the analysis skills to go back at it again.
Good. Very good. And next, when I can tell I'm about to cry.
I know I'm about to cry is when I'm on my what's it called? Either I had consecutive bad events in one day, or I had consecutive bad events over weeks or months. Like, how do I say? It's not like the average unemotionally unavailable person, but usually something really bad has to happen, like a bullying event, or I get mistreated, or I don't know, like something along the lines of that.
Yeah. And what do you do when that happens?
Well, if I'm outside walking on the streets, because I mean, my school, I'm in a college town. I basically put on my hood and then put I don't know what it's called, part of the hoodie, so I can start crying. Or if I go to my room, I cry into my pillow, but make sure it's not too loud, because I mean, not too loud, but not too quiet either, just like a normal.
Yeah. And what would be the healthier option?
To confront the bad day or confront whatever it may be earlier, so I don't have to fall down that badly.
Yeah, okay. Confronting your feelings sooner.
Yeah, basically going to the root cause.
Going to the root cause. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Sometimes things are too much and it's easier to avoid, and sometimes it's healthier to directly deal with things. Right on. Okay, so the 4 questions here. what do you want to work on? What interests you? What do you want to work on?
Well, I'm just trying to make friends, really. I mean, I already seek professional help and have been for 3 years now. Well, close to 3 years. Um,
Mhm.
what is getting in your way? Um, COVID, Zoom
Yeah.
classes, a lot of 200 people lectures,
Mm,
and basically me leaving everything back home and losing everything and starting over for the second time.
mm,
Because I graduated high school in 2019, went to a college in Pennsylvania in 2019 to 2020 school year, but I was in my hometown last year because of COVID. And then I'm at my new school now, and let's just say my childhood wasn't very that great. If I had a GoPro camera strapped on me, then people would listen. It's like, how do I say this? It's like you're trying to tell the truth, but no one's willing to listen because it sounds so fake. I mean, I have the proof on my old phones, but where do they go? They're probably in the recycle. They've been recycled into a new phone by now. But yeah, a lot of my life, I felt that my life was a lie because I've been gaslit by others, those who were supposedly close to me. So I needed a better environment, and at least I'm here. But usually I get some random reminder of people from high school, and it just becomes a bad day. Or at least that's what has happened before.
mm. Wow. Well, that's a lot to go through. That's a lot to go through. And good for you for acknowledging you got gaslit. That means you are walking toward consciousness right there. So yeah, yeah, you may be way more conscious than the people who gaslit you.
I mean, a
And
lot of it was me calling them out for their bad behavior or mistreatment, but because I didn't really have that many people, they could create a narrative. And let's just say, despite me calling them out on their behavior, they felt offended by my calling them out. And that's so, let's just say my numbers kept dropping because it was a number scheme back home.
mm,
Only two things that you needed: academic ability and or sports ability. I was
mm,
not athletic for most of my life, and in the courses I took, like APs and honors, I was near the bottom. That school was like a rat race. It's like going to Wall Street right now.
mm,
Numbers, numbers, numbers. All they cared about. And because I was at the bottom, I was very easy to pick on.
yeah.
A lot of those people had very bad how home lives. Not to the point that you find kids beating each other up. The crime rate was very low at our school. But
Mhm.
let's say they did all the stuff like dehumanization,
Yeah.
internet stuff,
Yeah.
all that.
Feeling empty.
I mean, I'd say it's three things: literal emotional slash child abuse via parents, emotional neglect, which is a whole other story, but that's more of the rare part in my school. And the last one is just kids who don't realize what they're doing is wrong because they saw their other friends do it. So mix those three equations in, and someone who didn't really have that many people to support him in the first place, and now people would never listen to what I had to say, even though I had sources on my phone.
When you say people won't listen to what I have to say, you mean people won't listen to what I went through? People
Yeah,
won't believe me? Mm.
yeah, they wouldn't believe me. Even teachers wouldn't believe me. Like even if students were literally saying I will not and do this schoolwork until the last minute, and I had the proof on my Google Doc. I said, look at the Google Doc. This is the time sheet. You know what she doesn't look at, and instead laughs at, humiliates me for the whole class while trying to kick me out. So a lot of my life has been a lie, and unfortunately, while to the average person, if I were to say these things, oh, you're just making stuff up, you just want to play the victim. I'm one of probably this is a rarity case. I'm probably the other 50% because yes, half the time this is a lie, but the other half, in this case, it wasn't, and I realized that the hard way.
And I just want to say your life wasn't just a lie. Your life was filled with hurt. Yeah, and that wasn't a lie. Yeah, that's what you really went through. And I'm sorry.
It's okay.
And and um and you know what? No one has to believe what you went through. Only you do. And hopefully this class can really can really help you with that there. Hopefully so. Hopefully so. Validate. An important part of overcoming gaslighting is validation, right? We all need that validation. So So hopefully this class can be a space where you can really get some hardcore validation going on here.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess that it's fair to say that what triggers you easily would be talking about this, huh?
I'd have to say what triggers me is misinformation or deliberate misinformation on anything. Lying
Yeah.
about classes, lying about statistics in the current events, lying about anything.
Lying, yeah.
It's gotten to the point that I've started to join a debate club just so I could stand up for myself. Because back over there was a 1v5. I was getting clobbered by the other students who didn't want to listen.
Yeah.
At least in debate, I can yell and I would basically state the facts and no one's there to clobber me 1v5 or 1v whoever, how many people there may be.
Okay. Okay. Well, hey, if I had to write what a healthier option would be here for you, it would be learn debate. Yeah. Hey, the way you described it, it almost sounds like how people take defense training, to feel safe at night. Well, you took debate training as defense training. Yeah, right on. Okay.
I mean, I don't know the word for it, but it's like transferring your something into work. Like if you're angry, you turn into martial arts. I don't know what the word for that is.
Well, transference is fine, but the other word is sublimation. And if you turn it into something good, it's usually called sublimation. Yeah. Oh, and on that note, what negative strategies do you want to avoid?
What negative strategy? I guess yelling into my room. But I mean, it really depends on what situation that is. If I'm yelling over stuff that has nothing to do with my personal life, then yeah, that's a bad thing. And unfortunately, I've been doing that a lot because I'm alone, and the only things I have are Zoom for my school and the internet, which is basically whatever is popular these days. I just watch or look up.
Right on. And anything else important to your self-care? Anything coming up for you?
Well, let me check something and then I can get back to that. It's related to this though. I'm just trying to find the words for it. Okay, here we go. So it's the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I'm looking at this on Google Images right now. Let's gas through this, shall we? Physiological needs: air, water, food, shelter. I'm lucky to have parents with the right financial status, so that's out the way. Safety needs: personal security, employment. Well, I don't have a job, but I'm at school. Resources, health, property, love and belonging. Friendship, intimacy, nope. Family, sense of connection, esteem.
So go back to the ones that was a nope.
This is in the context of love and belonging. Friendship is a no. Intimacy is no. Family is yes. And sense of connection, you can argue no.
Well, you would argue no, right? Okay, so then the next question is, are those things important to you?
Well, yes. That's what most people need. That's what the hierarchy of the pyramid says as well. And that's what I also need, literally.
Well, just to be clear, yes, most people may need it. And, we all get these things in larger amounts and smaller amounts than others. Certain things may be more needed than other for you at a current moment in your life. Sometimes these things are connected to age. Sometimes they're connected to experience. These things, there's lots of options to choose from there.
Well, I'll just put it this.
Yeah.
I only have 2 friends right now, one of which has pretty much graduated a semester early from college and has moved to a different state in the US, has pretty much moved on from me. Basically, I could tell she moved on from me a few weeks ago or even a month ago. She already has a boyfriend and everything. She moved on. She's got a job and everything. The other person's from my hometown, but she goes to school in Washington State. Everybody else has either graduated, moved on, or they talk to their buddies from high school. or something along the lines of that. So again, I told you I had to restart twice. It's my second time restarting.
Yeah. 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 And you feel like all your friends have left. You don't have that connection there anymore.
Well, I've lost everything since elementary school. I mean, if I had to put an economic graph, my peak was fourth grade in social level. My academics peak is college. I'm really doing well in college, but socially, you can look at trend line, peaked in fourth grade. Everything else was down, 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 one up, down, and then I somehow got out the positive uh, rate.
Hmm.
So I looked at things analytically, really. It's how I look at a lot of things other than things like homelessness or something that needs compassion. But for stuff like that, I realized it analytically. I'm like, yeah, that was my peak. And I admit it.
And that's funny because you laugh when you said that too. So just note
I
that.
mean, I admit it when I admit truths in my life. I'm not here to lie about my life. I'm not here for for people to tell me what I want to hear. If there's people who do that, there are people who literally show up for professional help just so they can make stuff up and tell someone to tell them what they want to hear. No, I'm here for literal reasons. And unfortunately, the case was that I did peak in fourth grade when I had everything. And that
But
was it.
what's also true there, from what I just heard you say, is that you're a very authentic person.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's a strength you have there. That's a really
Yes.
important part of your self-care plan, being really genuine.
I mean, I really make it very open. I'm like, okay, if someone is mistreating me, like in high school, I said, look, I'm just here to produce numbers and graduate. If you're going to be my friend, good. If not, I don't have time for it. Time is grades for me, and I need to get out of here. That was literally my goal in high school. In my new colleges, it was me moving to college number 2. And originally, when I was at college 1, was to move to the bigger version of the campus because it was a branch. I'm like, look, I'm just here to produce numbers and head out. So I make my goals very clear. And now at this school, I'm here for 2 things: produce numbers and make friends / join clubs and try to get an internship. I mean, that's 3 things. So much more goals now because I have more freedom essentially. But in my hometown, it was coercion. You had to hang out with the group or else you'd be ridiculed. Because, oh my God, it was ruthless. And that's not even me trying to play the victim. I tried staying alone for once. Oh, it was ruthlessness. Because the school, geographically or mathematically, was a very small school based on area, how much space you had. So it's very easy to spot you. It's not like a really big school where you can go off wherever you wanted. I'm talking in the context of high school. College, no one really cares unless you're a fraternity person. That's a whole different story. But yeah, it was coercion. It was really coercion. Over here, it's a free society. You have options. You're not obliged to hang out with someone.
Well, then, in an environment like that, I mean, what I heard you say was your coping mechanism, your strategy was, I'm here to get the numbers. Right? You focused on that because in an environment that's ruthless, why would you want to focus on your feelings? That would be a stupid move in an environment like that. You'd get into a lot of trouble in an environment like that, right?
I mean, I had very few people, but unfortunately, at the end, they joined the people who were mistreating me. I learned that the hard way. They were all good to me until the person came in, spread the misinformation, and I'm pretty sure some of them did have Stockholm syndrome, and that's not me playing the victim. If I had the sources, if I had those screenshots today, or if I had a video recording today, people would listen and believe me. Unfortunately, I don't have a YouTube video, but yeah, I wish I had a GoPro strapped on me. Then people believe me. That video would have got hundreds of thousands of views. I would have probably been on TV. I would have probably made so much money. Been on Good Morning America.
Maybe.
If only I had the resources for that. Today, these kids are smart. They know what to do. I was too scared to record on my phone because I thought someone's gonna break my phone or a teacher would come take it away. Kids these days, they know what to do. They know how to record without getting caught.
Well, the phone absolutely would. Everybody could see you and say, yeah, you were right. And that's not going to happen because you didn't record it. And you get the right to still feel like you were right without having to have that phone. And you get the right to process however you feel about it. That's what's really important here. Good Morning America isn't going to help you process those feelings, right?
You're right.
Yeah.
I mean, I only get reminded of high school if someone tries to add me on my social media. I had to remove 150 people. This includes people from my recent colleges. But I had to remove a lot of people, but some still tried adding me, even though I clearly removed them. So I either get reminders through that, or reminders through someone who I forgot to remove, or I just am alone here in a dormitory, well, apartment building with just Zoom. So it's just a myriad of factors, but usually I only get reminded if someone tries to remind me first.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, from what I'm hearing you say, you do a pretty good job of avoiding things. You know, if you really don't like something, you know how to boom, 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 boom,
Yeah,
boom, boom.
yeah.
Okay. Well, building walls around things that you don't like is another one of your self-care plans. You're really good at that. That's good to know. It's really good to know. Yeah. Out of curiosity, is there any sort of a quote or thing you say, like a mantra, your things that you tell yourself regularly? You have a favorite one, anything like that?
Everyone who doubted me is, I got the quote on my phone, or
Okay.
actually, I got my computer as well. It's from 2009. Let me
Uh-huh.
pull it up. I put it on my social media exactly 2 years ago. Everyone who doubted me is asking for forgiveness. If you ain't been a part of it, at least you got to witness. And it's a Drake quote, 2009. But I mean, that's one of them. Or the next one is just produce numbers.
Hmm.
My goal is to get on the school newspaper for debate. I want my name to be plattered so people would know. It's like not on SpongeBob, but like it's like hire who wants to debate me. Everyone comes in one by one by one by one, gets on YouTube, and then those who are associated with what I believe in, they get to hire me, or at least they get to put me in a platform where I can uh, show my skills. Back in high school, I used to debate, well, other than trying to stand up for myself against those who mistreated me, what I used to debate was sports statistics. I used to memorize random sports statistics because I used to play a sport and I used to watch a lot of sports.
Oh. Oh.
So I used to debate players, debate teams, bet on sports teams.
Yeah. 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 Oh, right on. Okay. So you have lots of things that you do and lots of ways to connect also that are right there at your disposal that I'm sure probably don't always seem that obvious because you're caught in the stuff that you don't like, right? Or the things that happened to you that you didn't like, right? I think it's important to note, just hearing you talk, there's all sorts of things you do. And there's lots of other people who do those things too, and would probably be more than happy to do them with you. And even this thing you said about Facebook and deleting all these people, I mean, is there any chance any of these people were actually just interested in being your friend?
I mean, again, if I had a lot of this was some of it was on my old accounts, the rest of it was in person. It just
Yeah,
wasn't for me.
wasn't for you. Okay, okay, okay. I'm just going to go with one more question here. But when you say it wasn't for you, do you mean people altogether are not for you?
Those specific people. I don't delete random people I don't know or decent people. I keep decent people on my page from high school, college, whoever it may be.
Hmm,
Those who have mistreated me, or those who are, yeah, those who have basically mistreated me, I remove them.
you
Or
removed them.
those who have been, what's it called? Bystanders of those, or those who have laughed with those who mistreated me.
Yeah.
And it's very easy for me to find out. I mean, people usually send those pictures to me, or I find out because someone shows their screen. I easily find out whether it's my intention or not. Half the time, someone just shows me, or someone adds me in there. I'm like, okay, I found it. You guys just exposed yourself. What clownery that is. And
Hmm,
then like, I'm like, hey, this you? Nope. They kicked me out right after that. I mean,
hmm.
it's really on them. They add me in. I see it right there, and then boom, and then because they have their little numbers, they can say whatever they want.
Yeah, yeah. You just described the weirdness of 2020 social reality.
Yeah.
Facebook and all this social media stuff. And yeah, you're that you are
Even when I wasn't on social media, it was pretty bad because what's it called? I don't know how to explain it, but like I say text messaging, it was called. Yeah, regular text messaging they'd show me. It wasn't just social media stuff. But
Mm.
yeah.
Well, I think we now live in a social media reality. This is the norm now, right? So, LOL. Like it's normal just to talk like that now, right? So, out of curiosity, before we go on with this, I'm just going to ask you, how did talking about this make you feel? Do you have any feelings?
Validated. Someone's willing to listen. Someone's willing to understand.
Hmm.
Someone's having the kindness or decency to listen. Some of those in my hometown didn't even have the decency to at least try to listen. It was like in Toy Story when Buzz Lightyear was locked up in the little toy box. I'm Buzz. I don't know if you get that scene, but he was locked up and the fake Buzz took over. It was me basically banging into a glass wall where no one could hear what I say, or someone could say, "Hey, look at this clown! He's banging on the glass wall." It's along those two lines, but again, the majority will only believe me if I had those videos. Only a
Okay.
small minority knows. And
Yeah.
that's not even including the bystanders who probably know but didn't do anything.
Yeah. 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 Those are hard moments. Those are really hard moments. Those are really hard moments. You can lose a lot of faith in humanity in those really hard moments. I really do get that. And imagine the little girl who recorded George Floyd being murdered, and if she hadn't recorded it on video, and she just had to,
No one would have listened.
no one would have listened. Absolutely,
I mean,
absolutely.
that's also the good thing about the technology. You can get this on tape. Unfortunately, I didn't have social media, at least that's certain social media until 10th, 11th grade. So from childhood to a good chunk of high school, the only thing I had was text message, email. That's all I had.
Oh, okay. Hmm.
I mean, what they used
Yeah.
back then, pagers. I don't know. I don't even know how to use a pager.
I think that might be a little earlier than but yeah, there were pagers back in the day. I do remember pagers still. Yeah.
I mean, because the professional I talked to, he lived in the 80s, the most ruthless era since the 50s, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah.
People are ruthless. If you see how they treated those at the bottom economically, get a job, you commie. Oh damn, bro, you guys that mean? Like you're not obligated to give $100. Just probably like $1 would have been fine, or just nothing whatsoever. But like, wow. And also, like, it was normal for people to put thumbtacks on their teacher's chair, throw paper at the teacher, and stealing lunch money. Nobody does that anymore. Oh my god, fighting in schools are normal. Today it's much more rare because people use video games instead. They
Yeah.
catch me on Madden NFL or whatever it may be these days, WWE, and then they
Hmm.
play on the internet.
Yeah, some things change and some things don't, I suppose. That's just kind of how life is.
The bullying did get worse, it's just less physical.
But it's less, yeah. Yeah, that's exactly
The
right.
physicalness dropped, but the embarrassment on the internet is up. So it's kind of it's a trade off.
It's a trade-off. Yeah. Yeah. So, okay, so let me just briefly say this. This whole self-care plan is an ongoing thing. Nothing about any of these exercises are a one and done. Please revisit. Please see if your answers change. Please add more to your answers. The more consciousness you can develop about who you are, why you do the way you do, and thinking about, again, what would be the healthier option, the more that's simply there. And when that day comes and we work through something and it's difficult, you know what to do, where to go, and you got options there. Okay. So that's really important. So please revisit that, fill that out, use
Yes.
that as an opportunity to get in touch with you. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next part here is an emotions list. So we're going to take all the things we were talking about, we're going to apply it here, okay? So in this class, we're going to learn how fundamental emotions are to life. Despite how important they are, most people only have a few words to describe how they feel, like fine, which I learned in the mob movie The Italian Job stands for fucked up, insecure, neurotic, and emotional. Even worse, most of the time, When people ask, how are you doing? They often don't really want an answer. It just becomes something to say to introduce conversation. In this class, I will ask you how you are doing every class, and I want you to experience actually going inside and labeling your feelings. And then there's an emotions list. I will encourage you to move beyond just good, fine, okay, or bad, and work to develop a more in-depth vocabulary. Also, it is 100% okay to express both negative and positive feelings. You don't ever have to lie or fake what you feel. And I particularly wrote that for my California crew, because California is all about the I'm fine. Oh yeah. Okay, so we're gonna do this. I also set this up so kids can learn how to do this too. So we're gonna make this real simple here. So grab some paper or use a computer or an emoji, and let's practice drawing a feeling. Okay. Now let's see. Let's run through some of these feelings you were just talking about here. You said gaslit. So actually, let's do that one. That's a complicated one, kind of big for our first time, but I think we can handle it here. What does gaslit look like to you? Draw it, find an emoticon, find something. Show me what gaslit.
I'm gonna try doing it on the notepad on the iPhone. You need first find how it looks.
Gaslit. Gaslit. Oh.
Okay, I found it. It's basically the red angry face with like the bad words censored, I guess. Like you're trying to say something, but no one's gonna listen.
Red angry face
with like the bad words over. It's on the iPhone.
Oh, okay.
These are iOS emojis.
Okay. So why don't you grab a pencil and draw it? Draw that emoji. Yeah. Why don't you give that a shot?
Yeah.
The nice thing about drawing is it connects our brains, the two hemispheres of our brains together.
Yeah, I mean, using paper, computer.
You can use Paint, MS Paint, an app, whatever works for you.
MS Paint. Let me give that a try. I mean, this is a touch screen, so it must work.
Oh, well, there you go. For what it's worth, I think this thing also has a whiteboard. So that you can... I could set up a whiteboard, but computers. Why don't you just draw it here? The drawing really will help you, your right brain and left brain.
Wait, draw it where? I'm doing it on MS Paint.
That's fine. But just draw what gaslight, draw that emoji, draw what gaslight looks like for you.
Okay, I did it. I tried to copy whatever that iOS thing had.
Yeah.
So I did it.
Okay. Okay, well, mine would look like this. I don't know if you can see this or not. Might not be able to see it because of the...
There's like a thing in the background, so it's not showing.
My cat. It's my cat, actually. It's
the
cat right here. You can see him.
Okay. Yeah.
Sleeping.
Yeah.
Right. Let me do this. No. Let me do this. How? No, that's just a different one. How do I turn this thing off?
Yeah, I don't know how to do that.
Oh,
it says none. There we go.
Oh, there we go. Okay, so I don't know if you can see this with the glare, but there it is.
That looks more like a devil thing. I don't know why.
Oh, I'm sorry. These are question marks. These are all question marks.
Oh, it must be the camera then. I don't know why.
These are all question marks here. Okay.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, so that's gaslit for me. And let's do that. Okay, so that's gaslit for me.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to go into details about the gas, what that looks like for me. So let's just do some analysis here. So the two eyes are not the same. One eye looks really open and the other one is squished.
Like this.
There's some real like stress. I see some real stress going on with those eyes. And then the mouth is equally very unpleasant, very unhappy, very lots of stress. I see a lot of stress. And then I see all these question marks. But, I don't see, question mark could also imply curiosity, but I don't see really curiosity here so much as I see intense frustration.
There, I managed to do the face.
That's good. Oh, that's good. That's really good. That's really good. Okay. That's the next, that's part 2. Act out these facial expressions. See what they look like on your face. Okay, let's see. Okay, get a mirror. Look at yourself making that face. Just really get in touch with what it looks like on your face.
Yeah.
Gaslit.
Yeah.
What I went through. Okay. Let's describe this. Describe these facial expressions. What did it feel like having that face?
Questioned, angry, and crying at the same time.
Like, at the same time, like all at the same time. Like a super overwhelming bunch of emotions, all at the same time.
It's like you're getting beat up and people are laughing at you, or someone is humiliating you for no reason. Like the teacher is humiliating you for the whole class and you don't even know what you did wrong. It's like you come late to class and then they're humiliating your grades or whatever it may be, or how you look, and then everyone's laughing and no one's standing up for you. Like, what in the world? I just came late. That's how I get treated.
Yeah. Just layering on all these huge situations. And all I just showed up. Absolutely. And when you described it, I could really feel the shock, the scramble to figure something out, the tension in my like I'm bracing myself for what am I going to do here? So I can feel this tension in my face. I can feel this tension in my neck. I can feel this tension in my back. Like I'm bracing myself. Yeah.
But more people would understand it if they did some critical analysis. That's the easiest way to learn this. Like a 5-year-old probably wouldn't understand it, like for the most part. But if like a high school student would want to learn this stuff, they would analyze the situation, maybe watch a video of something happening to the same person or the same thing happening to a similar person on YouTube. Yeah. So those two things can be very good ways to critically analyze a situation. That way they won't say the wrong stuff.
Well, that is absolutely true. And hey, we're technically watching YouTube, watching each other right now when we're learning and doing this. So there you go. That's absolutely true. Okay. So the other thing we can do to get in touch with this is just to make space to feel it. Okay. So we're gonna do this. Let's go for a solid 2 minutes just to sit with the feeling of gaslighted. Gaslighted. Sit with the feeling just 2 minutes. Okay. Take some deep breaths. Just notice your breathing. Anything gets too intense, just focus on the breath. The breath's happening whether you want to breathe or not. So it's just coming back to the present moment. What does gaslighting feel like for you? You might see some images in your mind, some thoughts, some feelings, bodily sensations. Just take it all in for a moment. If possible, not here to judge. Even if just for a moment, not even to analyze. Just a solid 2 minutes of like we're paying our respects to the altar of gaslighting. Are these feelings inside of us? You know, that's not an easy feeling to feel. I can tell you, oh my God, that is not an easy feeling to feel. So you know what, if maybe just 1 minute, we could just sit with it for 1 minute. That might be some huge progress right there. You know, as I sit into that feeling, I just feel I just feel all sorts of heat and fear and distress. Like a rope with knots, and each one I just feel like a ladder, and there's just all this stuff loaded onto this ladder all the way down. Okay, so just okay, you can pop out of that and come back to normal and shake it off, and just take a moment to just recognize that that's what's going on inside. You know, we often spend all our time focusing on the things and the grades and all our goals and everything. But when we take that space to pause, all this other stuff is going on all the time in our inner life, right? So we got to making space for that can make space to really work it through and process it and maybe turn that energy into something that's more beneficial for us. Or at the very least, it makes sure we don't gaslight ourselves. Yeah, in the process. That's absolutely right. Let's try another emotion. And maybe gaslight. That's a whew, that's a big one.
Yeah, that's too much.
So let's try maybe a more simpler emotion. You know, I got happy, sad, and angry, scared here. You want to try any of those?
I mean, the one I was going to show was also on the iOS. It's just circle, I, and then like a flat mouth. It's like,
okay.
It's like you just don't know what to say. It's like, okay.
Oh. Draw it. Let me draw it. Hold up. Circle. I. Flat mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Here we go.
Yeah, that's the one. It's like
that's the one here. Okay.
It's like you just don't know what to say anymore. It's like, okay.
You don't know what to say anymore. It's like, okay. Okay.
It's like when someone's trying to be funny and then you just don't know what to say. It's like, it's not bad, but it's not good either. It's like, I do not know what to say.
Not bad, not good. Don't know. Blank. Okay, so let's act out blank. What does blank look like?
There.
I'm not great at this, but hold on, wait, hold on. Blank.
Okay.
Okay. Now, what did blank feel like? Go inside. What did blank feel like?
Abnormal. Something I wouldn't really. I don't really know what to say. It's just I don't really think about blinking or whatever it may be.
Okay, well, just sit with it for a bit. Go blank. Go flat. Just scan your body. No, it feels sort of, it actually kind of feels kind of disconnected. That's what, that's the word I'd have for it. Yeah. Discombobulated. Like I feel like my head has been separated from the rest of my body. Blink. I'm here, but I'm not here. I'm responding, but I'm not responding. Wow.
But back to those people who did me dirty. I did an analysis. The majority, whether that majority is 51 to 70%, they only talk to their people from high school. I realized that even those who went out of state for college, I just have to wait till I'm a little over 30 years old, and I just hope that the majority of the people from my high school forget who I am.
Okay. Well, I
Yes.
honor that that's your plan. And as we said before, you're good at plans. So I'm not surprised you got a plan for for how to deal with that in the future. What I would say is that particular concern you have, that's something that let's keep working on that throughout the weeks, okay? I think the exercises that are coming up when this comes up, when we work on it in future weeks, we can dig into it a little deeper, okay? And that way we can piece some things out and then analyze some feelings and work on some things there.
Because I'm trying to get on TV later in the future, whether it's something like the news or whatever. Last thing I want to do is get, oh, look at this loser from high school and putting that on Twitter. So I don't want them to remember who I am. I don't want to get humiliated by 30 students or their friends or whoever that may be from high school, middle school, college. So whoever did me wrong, I just hope they forget who I am. It's like, oh, who is this guy? Don't know who he is. It's like for everybody else.
Well, if I'm hearing you correctly, this is a fear you have.
The fear is that it becomes a Twitter war between me and me getting clobbered by people from high school. Yeah.
Okay. Well, fear is just a feeling. It's just a feeling. So if we make space to just sit with the fear, get in touch with that fear, maybe whether it happens or not, it may not be so bad, but you'll know how to deal with fear really well. Okay, instead of maybe avoiding it or having to come up with a 10-year plan for for managing.
I still wish they would forget me though.
You wish
I just don't want them to remember my name. Don't want them to remember that I went to their hometown. None of that stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't want to remember them either. Yeah. I just want to keep it that way. Because I've already deleted. It's like my brain's a computer. I already deleted half my memory, so I can't even name half the stuff that happened in my childhood. Many things that I used to remember very well, I just forgot it. Like many bad things, specifically that I used to hold on from elementary to high, I forgot it. Like straight up. So hopefully something along the line that happens to them and me when it comes to knowing people from my town.
Okay. Well, that's maybe not. Who knows? I'm not God, and you're not God either. Who knows, really? But let's just hope that maybe we can give ourselves some compassion for going through all empathy. The word you used there, the E word there. I thought you said, yeah. So I thought you meant energy or something, but yeah, empathy. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, maybe we can give ourselves some empathy for all the stuff we've gone through and how we're still managing through it now. That sounds like if you've been bullied, which I have, you may need a lot of compassion for yourself having gone through that experience. So we're all doing the best we can. And well, like I said, as weeks go on, if you stay in this class, we can keep working through these feelings and talking about this, and we can see where this goes,
Yeah, but I mean, like, I don't say the E word out loud because some people don't like to hear that word. So because they know they don't have any. Just kidding. But so I use the term critical analysis because it gets you to the destination either way, because it does what the definition of the E word says, which is to put yourself in other people's shoes. What does that require? Critical analysis, analyze the situation, analyze the externalities, all that sort of stuff. So it works either way.
Now there's one difference between critical analysis and empathy, or I should say between compassion.
Yeah, compassion is different. That requires actual feelings, but usually you gain that through analysis, because if you don't know something, how are you going to react to it? Like, if you don't know about Antarctica, how are you going to say anything if someone says, oh, Antarctica is like dying off or something? You don't know what to say. So you have to analyze, and you're like, oh, this is not good. I feel bad for the penguins or whatever it may be. So it leads to that destination, unless those who are genuinely psychopaths, that's the whole different story. I'm saying for the average person or those who are not into this sort of stuff, critical analysis gets you there.
Yeah. Okay, absolutely. Critical analysis is absolutely a way to get in touch with other people's experiences and what's going on and make sense of them. 100%.
A
Absolutely.
good synonym to use.
Oh yeah, and it works better than empathy for some people. That's
Yeah.
absolutely true. That's absolutely true. Okay, so that's a tactic to just, if that's your tactic, let's use that tactic and see how we can build on that. Okay. Okay, so here we go. An emotions list. Let's take a long look at this list. Okay. So there's just a bunch of, this one's generally what we call the negative feelings: angry, depressed, afraid. And then there's a list here of question 4, which is I guess you'd say the more positive feelings: open, loving, happy, interested. So just take a moment and let's just scan this whole thing. Just take in all these words. And hey, if any of these words do relate to your feelings, feel free to say them out loud.
Mm.
Your feelings right now, this issue with the past.
I guess you could say dissatisfied.
Dissatisfied. Mm. 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 That's in the depressed column there.
Yeah, you could say that.
Yeah. And that's not easy to open up to. That's not easy to open up to there. So any of those feelings, any of those other words?
I'm just trying to check which one fits the tense, the verb tense.
Okay.
Um, I mean, I guess revengeful, but usually I'm not a revengeful person. Usually I forgive other people, but for some reason, some people are salty.
Okay.
Obviously, people in college aren't as salty, at least so far. That's a good thing. But in
Yeah.
high school, I knew someone who ruthlessly taunted me from what's it called, 4th grade. Said the same stuff over and over again. And that guy got into UC Santa Barbara, so good karma on him. 4th grade. I mean, I was in high school and he's repeating the same stuff. I'm like, dude, grow up. I couldn't say that because he had numbers. And again, I'm not trying to get clobbered by 5 people who he was, let's just say, I overanalyze in the sense that I know a bit too much. In school, and what school I went to, there was 2 versions of the ranking scale. The ranking scale of the lowest, the bottom, these are economic terms, the top 1% academically and the top 1% socially. My school was for the brains. It was an East-based city, but Alameda County city. This school in the town I was in produced so many Berkeley students, you'd think it was a private school. But the top 1% academically usually intersected with the top 1% socially. Academically, I was probably the median, or at least the top 60%. Socially, I was a bottom 40. I wouldn't say 50, but I know I was at the bottom 40. I wasn't at the bottom 10, but because again, what's it called? A lot of the people that I was talking to, because the courses I took, a lot of them went to my elementary school and the neighboring school. Those 2 elementary schools made up over half the population. So if I'm taking these certain courses, the only people I'm interacting with are the people on my street, essentially the street of my elementary school.
Yeah.
So there was no options.
Very small community there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, it really had to do with the courses you took. And I
Mm.
took smart people courses, or smart people courses, as they want to call them. So that congregated and made a very small pool of applicants. Yeah, I'm using economics terms again. But it was a numbers game. Numbers. Yeah, as I stated, you'd think it was the 80s. Greed, for lack of a better word, is good. That was pretty much the talking point. But
Okay. And when you think about that, it's coming.
At least in social terms, I would say that's how people thought. Academically,
Yeah.
people were cooperative. When it came to academic dishonesty, yeah, they were very cooperative. Socially, greed was good, but academically, they knew there was the no snitching rule, no snitching. And I played by that rule too, because everybody's trying to get 100 at that school. Nobody says anything, we're all fine. Of course, if I went to a lower performing school or an average school, there'd be a ton of people saying, you're taking handouts from each other or something along the lines of that. But our school was so ruthless, we needed those numbers. So we were at the verge that we had to do it no matter what. Or at least a lot of the students, even at the 1%. So it was coerced cooperation.
So when you look back on that particular issue, coerced cooperation, I saw some smiles you had there too. So how does that make you feel? What's the word for that feeling?
I mean, I find it, after moving to the East Coast, I find it weird that people are rallying and hating on handouts. When back in high school, I'm like, hey, you're giving me free answers. I'll take those with pride. It's free stuff. I love free stuff. It's free. I don't have to do any work for it. If there's a sign that says free candy bars, I'll take it. I mean, in college, there's still nice in person. There was tables and so you come here, we give you free pizza or popcorn. I'll go get it. I'll get plugged and I'll be fine with it. I'll take it with pride. Apparently, people are too ashamed with that. I'm like, what is wrong with you? In my town, we had to get that free stuff. It's about numbers.
Okay, it's about the numbers. Yeah. So can you put a word, a feeling word? Look at this list, and does any of these words correspond to the things you're talking about?
I would say coerced was a word, but also
okay.
Cognitive dissonance. There we go. It's not on here, but that's just a phrase I use which relates.
Yeah, cognitive dissonance probably isn't a feeling, but feeling dissonant,
yes.
Disconnected. That does sound like a feeling.
Intrigued. I guess you could use the word intrigued.
Intrigued.
If that's on there, I'm pretty sure I saw it. Yeah, there we go. It says but that's on question number 4 though.
That's
interested, yeah. Intrigued. Yeah.
Yeah. If I was going to give like a negative feeling to intrigued, it'd probably be something like confused or confused. Actually, that's probably that when you were describing just now, you won't take the answers. I don't get it. It's free. Why don't you do it? That was sort of the feeling you were expressing right there. Confused.
Because there are people in the real world who, even if everyone gets free, they're mad that someone else got it for free. Over here, I care less. Like, hey, I don't care who gets it for. I'm getting it. I'm fine with that. Which is kind of a dissonance because that their side is hyper individualism and mine was individualism as long as it benefited me, and I could care less who else benefited because it's a win-win for everybody. If they win, who cares? My numbers are going up too. But I can't believe someone could be that salty that even if they benefit, they'd get mad that other people are getting it too. I'm like, how are you mad? It's your stuff. Your numbers are going up or whatever you may get. If there's extra credit, 5 points, and everyone gets it, you're going to get mad at person B who's getting 5 free points. You're getting it too. Worry about your numbers. I guess it came from a place of desperation because our school was very competitive. So whatever numbers we got, we needed to get as much as possible. For them, it was a rat race. So they had inequality in the sense that there weren't that many kids going in these high-performing colleges. Our school had a lot of those kids, 30 kids going into Berkeley. You'd think it's a private high school, but it wasn't. So over here, it was cooperative, so we can all get out of here, walk out with the numbers we want, and go to a good school. Over there, it's the ruthless Gordon Gecko.
Ruthless.
But they didn't have the experiences that we did. They didn't have the ruthless teacher who didn't teach at all and just sat on their desk and went on Facebook all day. They didn't have those ruthless AP courses. We had them. We were doing this out of desperation. They don't.
Desperation. Desperate. Yeah. Those are hard things to feel as a student, high school student. Yeah.
What's weird is they would all do academic dishonesty, but I'd be called the dumb one when I did it.
And you got
Oh,
called.
you're an idiot. You cheated in school. Like, dude, I only did it for the classes that were that hard. If it was easy, I'll walk out with a dub. And I only did it because everybody else was getting free answers too.
And how does that make you feel? Any of that?
I mean, if I'm going to get canceled in the future, I don't have the proof, but they did it too, so it's kind of hypocritical.
Hypocritical. Okay. Okay. Manipulative.
Yeah, you could say that. But I did get caught at the end. But again, it was not really on a test per se, but it was like something complicated. It wasn't even related to a test that we took. It was on something else. But yeah. But let's just say I got exposed not only to my own grade level, but to the grade level below me who look up to me. I
Yeah.
felt like I was Michael Jackson talking to little kids. That's how weird it felt. Because that's how other people told, oh, look at your. I was called something along the lines of a pedophile for talking to people 1 year younger than me. They're my same gender who I was trying to make friends with. So I was a hero to these people at one point, and now I was a fraud. I mean, think about it. I was hiding my social status. Every time it was brought up by people who wanted to bring me down, who were younger than me, I had to hide it. I'd say, oh no, I do have people who are irritating, but a good chunk of people are decent to me. Unfortunately, they found out the hard way, and yep, showed off my fraudulence.
And how did that make you feel?
Backstabbed,
Hmm. Hmm.
but I really did what I had to. Those are the only people in my course. That was my math class. That's what the students were in my class. It was a mixture of my grade kids and the kids younger than me by 1 year. That was the norm in my school. So I did what I had to do.
Yeah.
But fortunately, I do not talk to those people since 2 years ago. So that's good. 2 years ago, but because of COVID, I didn't really get a chance to make more friends, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really like talking about high school though, but for college, it's my schedule really goes as I use a lot of the office hours. So I
Mhm.
show up to office hours a lot of the time. I take my call with my professional. I go to school, get food and all that. Then I go Zoom call, Zoom call, Zoom call for school, homework. A lot of my days is spent doing academics. And in college, there's no need to do academic dishonesty because they let us use our notes. There's no need to. They're giving us what we need. I'm not going to complain.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Plus, I'm not
So
trying to get kicked out of a prestigious school.
yeah. Yeah. Oh, so when you said I have Zoom calls, Zoom calls, Zoom calls, how does that make you feel?
Drained because there's only like 15-minute breaks, and evidently I have to like what's it called? Get food from my fridge if there is any, reset my water, use the bathroom, take a call with my parents, little video call, set up the computer again. Yeah, that sort of stuff.
Hmm. Good. Good. And good. Good. Good.
But I really did come to terms with I'd say 95% of 96%, no, 98% of high school I've come to terms with. Like I only
Really?
don't come to terms. The 2% I don't come to terms with, as I stated, people trying to add me still to this day. Like today, apparently I was on LinkedIn and someone who was actually good to me, it said, "Oh, this person viewed you on LinkedIn." And that's how I thought about high school. So I'm like, how? I'm I don't have a advanced LinkedIn account. How does it show this person's name viewing me? That never happens. But that's awkward.
How did that make you feel?
Awkward
Awkward. Good.
because the LinkedIn account's not supposed to do that. It wasn't the paid version, which is supposed to show you for some reason. Maybe once a month they'll show because it's a new month. I don't know how that website works, so I don't use it that much.
So, I just want to just offer that you said 98% of this, you're just over it. but you talked a lot more than 98%, 2% talking about it in this
I mean,
conversation.
because we were talking about past to present, so evidently the past is going to be longer than the present because COVID.
That's absolutely.
So I'm trying to go from start to finish of a storybook or a history book, as I should put it, because I like history. Start to finish. So now I'm in college and I'm in a debate club and working on schoolwork.
Yeah. And this is your life history. These things don't often we minimize the things we just don't like. So yeah, and we block it up or put it behind us and that sort of thing. But sometimes when you get older in life, those things resurface because you block them. So it can be useful just to make space to let them out for what they are, as shitty as they might be. Yeah.
I mean, there are those who are very late into their adulthood, like much over the age of 25, like 40, 50, whatever that may be. And they have not overcame their childhood and therefore project their issues onto their children and make them do stuff like play a certain sport and they become tryhard. I used to play sports, so I know this. They go in the stands, start yelling like, dude, you're 40 years old. You got a whole job and you're worried about middle school sports. My guy, worry about paying the bills.
Yeah. Ain't that something? How insane parents will get over things like that, huh?
Some of them, I could tell that they abuse their children. The way I played hockey, so they bang the glass really hard, and you could see like their face, and then you could see how the kid acts towards. He takes anger out on you, basically, at least in this case, me,
Yeah.
or something along the lines of, well, either they're not physical in that case, or the kid just mistreats you in the locker room or on the bench or whatever it may be. So it's very evident. It's not that hard to figure out which parents peaked. Fortunately, many people these days are, at least the younger generation, is realizing that. Unfortunately, the older generation, many of them did not come to terms with that.
This is true. This is true. And coming to terms with it is the really important step for not becoming that 50-year-old who is still reliving their childhood trauma,
I think of LeVar Ball in the NBA. He's that guy. He has not grown. He went apparently 1 year in college and he couldn't finish, and now he forces his kids. His kids got targeted on their back by professional top 10 players because of that. These are just normal kids just trying to go to school. They want to go at UCLA. I'll give them credit for that. At least I'll give the parent credit for getting them to UCLA. But now they got targets on their back. So if they mess up, they're slandered on worldwide TV, ESPN, or whatever it may be these days. I don't watch sports anymore, but I just remember this from like 2 years ago. But LeVar Ball is like the pop culture example of that. And I don't know if you understand that terminology.
I have heard of this name before, and I do get the point you're making. I get the point you're making. So I just wonder, how does hearing this person be like that? What do you feel about that?
I mean, the guy's in his late 50s, and he already has a house. I don't even know why he's pushing this thing. It's just kind of weird. Like, it doesn't really make much sense. I mean, just worry about your kids going to school and then let them out or whatever. But he's over the top. He has not come to terms with his college years.
Okay, so I hear you say it feels weird. Okay, that's a feeling, so that's good. I'm also noticing, instead of giving a feeling, you are very good at giving a judgment. He should have gotten over this by now. He really isn't responsible. You often say judgments in place of feelings. I just want to know if you have ever noticed that.
I mean, I usually make my judgment after analysis. So I analyzed Mr. LeVar Ball by going through the Wikipedia page and looking at ESPN YouTube videos and looking at his demeanor. It can be concurred that this guy is not very mature for his age, at least the way he acts on national television.
Absolutely. And the feeling you have along with that is?
Disgust.
There we go. There we go. Disgust. There you go. He disgusts me. There you go. That's a feeling. There you go. That's it. Yeah. He disgusts you. Any other feelings with that? Where's disgust, by the way? Where's that in here?
I don't know where it is.
Get some disgust going on here. Good question. Where is disgust? Helpless, maybe? Could helpless be disgust? I don't know. Sick and nauseated, though, is here.
I guess you could say
disgust is
nauseated.
judgmental.
Pathetic. I think he's pathetic. It's in the word helpless.
Pathetic.
And
That's
the other
under
one I could put is bossy.
Bossy.
No, disgust is in judgmental.
It's in judgmental. That's right. Good. Yeah. So I just want to just point out the analysis is great, but there's a feeling analysis too, or a feelings conclusion. Right. Yeah. There's a feelings conclusion that comes along with this as well, and just outright stating what that is and putting it into a feeling word is another important part of the analysis.
Yeah.
Yeah, for you. Yeah.
That's true. But I usually show the analysis portion because, again, these are for people who do not have the emotional intelligence skills. So I'm teaching them the most universal step, and then they could figure out what to do from there. Absolutely. But yeah, I think my overemphasis on that has gotten me to forget about the second step.
You can get so caught up in trying to communicate with people, there's so many things you don't remember to say.
Yeah.
I hear that. Okay, so that's why this second step is so important for us to recognize what those words are, even if we don't say them to other people because they wouldn't understand or they won't agree with us or they just are not smart enough to get it. That we have to say these things for ourselves so we can get it. Yeah, otherwise we block our own ability to analyze.
Or it gets worse when you have your feeling, but you do, but either whatever it may be, you do not say it. Whatever myriad of factors that may be. So you end up going into drugs, and then 60, and then you hit 60, and then you just can't say anything. You're basically numb. Yeah. That's how you put it. It's too late, and you realize it, and you're trying to cry it out, and it's too late.
Yeah. That sounds really scary.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, I think that sounds like the fate you wish absolutely does not happen to you.
I'll be totally honest. If I did not have financially stable parents, I'd be called a crackhead, and I'll probably be roaming the streets of San Francisco right now.
Yeah, well, that's probably true for hundreds of people who live in San Francisco.
Sad to see, not alone.
You're probably not alone on that one. I just happen to know San Francisco, so I get that. And
I don't laugh at them.
How does that make you feel?
I don't laugh at them. It's more that people are scared if one of them hits us. To laugh at them is pretty messed up, but it's more just watching, just making yourself feel safe, or vice versa for them as well.
Oh, you mean the homeless? Is that what you mean?
No, like actual crackheads. Like homeless people are fine.
Okay.
Actual, like whether they're holding a beer bottle or whatever, you're just trying to not get hit. So I don't laugh at them. Yeah. Because I'm more worried about just both of our being safety. Because I have given a lot of money to homeless people throughout my childhood. But those would you can go, yeah.
Well, I just was gonna say that you said that you were afraid of being one of them. Were it not for your wealthy parents or parents with money, that you would be in that situation.
I mean, if I were poor and living in Hayward or Oakland, I wouldn't have had the financial stability. I'd have been easily kicked out of the home after 18. No one to pay for my college, no one to give me dorm. Housing prices in the Bay Area are through the roof. So just based off the housing prices, I'll be on the streets. And then the second part is to live on the streets. Yeah. And the access to what you have in Oakland and San Francisco, you could tell what's already there. So yeah, that's what I meant. Also, there were times in which, what's it called? I'm trying to get the terminologies for this. Like it's when you're severely angry to the point that you feel like you can kick a tree, or as people on the internet or those in the 80s would call crackhead energy or whatever that may be. There were
Uh-huh.
many parts of my life I felt as if I could like break something, and then obviously normal people like, what are you doing? That's like only those on drugs or those who are insane would do that. So I'm totally honest with you. I'm very thankful that my parents had the financial stability to not make me become like that. Because if I did not have professional help, I would have either ended up at community college or I would have ended up a pot smoker in San Francisco, living on the streets.
And what you feel is thankful.
Yes.
You feel thankful.
In
And
addition, just living in the Bay Area, I don't look down on those who have less than me because in my hometown, rents were through the roof and houses were worth $1 million. And
yeah,
this was on the border of the South Bay and the East Bay, if you understand the lingo.
I do. I do understand that.
So it's where all the tech people are.
That's Silicon Valley area.
Yes.
Yes.
And housing prices, you can find the most poor area and the housing price would be $700,000. So you sell those, you'll be a millionaire in Mississippi.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, even those who are poor in the Bay Area, even though they looked less poor than those in Mississippi, they're struggling. And you're one mistake, one car crash, one lack of access to health insurance away from becoming those at the top despise, those the NIMBYs despise in SF.
And when you think about the housing situation, how does that make you feel?
Well, because I've lived in the state with the most homeless people in the country, and I've pretty much seen it all the time. I'm not gonna laugh at them. I'm not gonna be mean. No, because I
No.
know that my parents are one step away. I mean, I'm one step away if I were working class. My parents are well educated. Our working class, oh, I wouldn't even be able to afford East Palo Alto, and that place has improved significantly since the 1990s. It's very much better today.
Yeah. And is there a feeling, a word of a feeling word that describes any of this?
What's the term for knowing your place?
Appropriate?
Synonym for that? Aware.
I mean, maybe comfortable?
I'd say aware because I'm more aware of it.
Aware. Okay, aware. Okay, okay. Okay. So we have about 10 minutes left on class
Yeah.
here. I just want to kind of just do a summary here. So what we did today is we discussed a self-care plan. We went through a whole understanding of what is self-care, various ways to look at it, and we looked at a whole bunch of things around what do you honestly do in various domains, and then what would be the healthier option for you, okay? And then we looked at emotions. We learned to put them into words. We drew them out. We felt them in our body. We sat with them for a minute. We even went through a hard emotion. We went through gaslighting, which is a really important one to feel through because so many of us have been gaslit in our lifetimes. Okay, and then we looked at a lot of words, and then we had a conversation about just, life, things at the past, life, things going on. We tried our best to put feeling words to the things that we have been through, right? We have plenty of words, plenty of analysis, but we're also including feeling words to complete that analysis for our inner experience. All that makes sense to you?
Yes, it does.
Okay, wonderful. So we're going to build on this next week. I just want to say this now. We're going to build on this next week by having a meditation. We're going to learn how to meditate. In case you've never done it before, we're going to have a whole discussion on how to meditate, and then an exercise on telling yourself the truth. Okay, that's going to be next week's exercise. So, is there anything you'd like to say? Any feelings? You want to talk some more? Anything you want to do?
I mean, yeah, I'd like to talk until the time runs out.
Let's go. You got it.
Telling oneself the truth. I'd say most people, at least I wouldn't say, I mean, you can argue the majority, but a significant portion of people or a significant population of people want those to tell them what they want to hear. Because usually when people tell the hard truth, they just do it in a way that makes, they say like, oh, you suck or something like that. Instead of saying, oh, your skills are decent, however, they need to catch up. See, they don't know how to say it correctly. So when people usually get scared of finding out the truth or whatever it may be, usually it comes off as a punch in the gut. So therefore, that's the reason why many people don't want others to tell them what the truth is. They'd rather have others tell them what they want to hear.
That's so true. And how do you feel about that?
I mean, I'd rather have someone tell me the truth than what I want to hear. I'm not asking for them to deliberately be ruthless or hateful, but like, hey man, you're doing this mostly well. I'd like you to improve upon this. Other than that, you're doing very well. It's just something simple as that would be fine, and I wouldn't say anything bad.
Yes, and most people won't do that because the truth is a problem.
Hurts.
Because it hurts. So when you don't get the truth, it sounds to me like that hurts you.
I mean, a lot of it has to do with the household, because when you're trying to say, like, for example, your parents say something mean, whether that be intentional or not, and you're like, hey, mom, I don't like it. Somehow, I'm not going to disparage all households, but some households, there's an ego problem with those at the top, because when you get power, that ego goes to your head a bit too much. So then you start, you're the one doing disrespect. Like, all I said is, could you say it a little bit better? I'm not here. That's why I hate the R word. Not the one that disparages those with disorders, but respect.
Yeah.
I say the word decency instead, because abusers really throw that word around a bit too much. When you want them to treat you with decency, they'll use the DR word, disrespectful.
Yeah.
So that word makes my blood boil. So I see, these are the things I always find synonyms for these words, whether they're for others or for me. Usually they're for both. Well, except for the E word part. Usually I just keep that for others because some people think it's funny to be ruthless. Again, these are 12-year-olds usually.
But it also sounds like you went through a lot of experiences with people who it was funny to be ruthless. Yeah.
That's more of a 12-year-old phase. People grow out of that, at least when they hit 25. If you're over 25 and still stuck with that phase, yeah, I can't help. Usually people learn that the hard way, and it's not good to do that sort of stuff. Just have decency instead.
Yeah. Do you ever find yourself having to, do you use the word decency regularly to other people? People treating you in a not decent way?
Yes.
Yeah. And when you have used that word and tried to explain things to them, how did that go?
Well, before I didn't used to use the decency word. I used to use the respect word. That was back in high school, though. At least the word decency works now. At least it gets the word across.
Well, the difference between, I guess, those words is, like you said, it's softer, it's a more emotional word. It has a whole different emotional context.
Or another word I can use is professionalism. If you're teaching kids that need, just say stuff like, would you do this to your boss? Or would you get hired for this? Or would others see you as a fool if you did this? Keep it professional. And the best way to do that is obviously to wear a suit if you're a teacher, but usually professionalism, decency, kindness, those are like the 3 dog whistles I use, or coded words I use to get the point across, because they work.
Yeah, because they work. That's right. Yeah.
People,
The context of those words, they're pretty clear, and they help you steer away from the things you don't like.
yeah, because no one wants to hear that their acts won't get them hired at a job, because you need a job to survive. It's like, this is how you're going to act. You're not going to get a job if you keep acting like that. Rather, act professional, because let's say, like, you're going to be out in the workforce. People who are 30 years old are going to look down on you. Something like, yeah, these type of talking points work the way I'm saying them. Unfortunately, there are those who have not caught on with these coded words. I learned them a bit too early.
Well, it just sounds like your whole coded word scheme is really about, like, I don't feel safe with these people, so I have to craft, the very words themselves. I have to craft them in ways that keep me safe.
Yeah.
Man, you feel that way?
I mean, yeah, because evidently there's going to be a certain portion of the population who will get offended. if I were to use the word respectful instead of the word decency, or so something along the lines of that.
Well, do you feel in any way it's like disrespectful that you have to keep changing the words you use?
Um,
Your life.
I mean, it's easier to say the coded words, so less time for me to say. And that gives me more word efficiency, economics terms again. It's more efficient for me to say the coded words, so I don't have to waste my breath. So, because I need to get water soon.
It is efficient. Absolutely. That wasn't really the question I asked, but
Oh,
yes, it
yeah.
is more efficient. But does it make you feel? How does it make you feel that you can't say the words you really feel?
I don't know the vocabulary word for that, but
Yeah.
put down, or yeah, down, that I really have to use coded terms to get it across.
Yeah. 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 Down, a little put down. I mean, are other people using all kinds of coded words for you? Hmm. Hmm.
Either they're A, very upfront about it to the point that even you'd find it dehumanizing, or B, they do it behind my back. Neither of those are good options. So, because I know how many of those people act, I have to use coded words like decency or professionalism.
Yeah, it just sounds like a really unaccepting environment.
Like if you're a high school teacher and the kids are not listening, like basically, look, I don't have time for this. You're here to learn. I'm gonna let you out early if you're good, or I'll let you play on your phones if you're good and have fun. No one's gonna complain. No one says anything. We can get this over with, and you'll be on your merry way. I'd cut the homework if you're good too. Like that sort of stuff. That is really good marketing skills. They'll
Hmm.
get on board if they get to use their phones the last 5-10 minutes of class. They're not going to get much homework. Why are they going to complain? Of course, there will still be those who complain, but the majority wouldn't. Majority won't complain. The less people that are going to say stuff, the better.
And that's it right there. People don't complain. They don't really get their feelings out. They just kind of
I mean,
say
if you're
the
working a
safety
job and
thing.
if you're working at a job and you got good pay and good benefits, you're not going to complain. You're not going to say anything. Those at the top are fine. You're fine. They'll walk out with theirs. You walk out with yours. No one says anything.
Mm, yeah,
It
and you
should be at that point that no one has to rally and stuff like that, or no one has to create chaos. That no one will have to say anything. Everybody gets what they want. Nobody gets mad.
mm,
That would be a utopia.
it would be, wouldn't it?
Workers get paid. Housing prices aren't too much. Professionalism.
But we don't live in utopia. So that all those things you just mentioned have a ranking. You like math, so all those things have a ranking in terms of your priorities, how you manage them, all those sorts of things. So I'm really hearing a lot of, you get the good job, you got the nice figures, you got everything you said you really wanted, so you should just suck it up and deal with it emotionally.
No, I mean, no, not in that context. I mean, like I'm talking about the context of job. If you're
Okay.
getting everything you want in a job, you really don't have anything else to say. You got everything. If
Mm.
you win $50 million lottery, you're not gonna ask for 100 million. You're fine with 50 million.
Mm.
I'm not talking in the context of the Maslow hierarchy of needs. I was talking in the economic context. I mean, in the social context, if everyone's happy, no one's gonna get mad at each other. No more arguments. No more talking about each other's back. None of that. Though some maybe, those a few will still do that. It works in both ways, but mine was more on the economic side.
Mm. Well, even that person who won 50 million and wanted 100, that person has feelings. And if those feelings say, I still didn't get what I really wanted, that feeling of disappointment will stay there regardless if it's 50 million,
But it's 50
99
million.
million.
How are they gonna complain? They won the lottery. It's 50 million.
Well, I don't know because I've never been in that situation. Okay. But your situation involves, you just said yourself, you have a family and opportunities and those sorts of things, despite the rough things you've been through. So there's somebody out there looking at you and going, hey, this dude, Pranav, what the hell's up? What the hell's up with this dude? He has all these things, and I'm here struggling to get by, and I can't do any of those things. What's he complaining about? So he got bullied. Somebody may be saying that right now. And your response, I saw your eyes. I saw your eyes there. So your response to that would be sort of like,
that's different. Economic and social stuff is different.
Social stuff is different.
Because again, you can be, I don't know what, I can't think of the words, but that person is having economic problems, but not social problems. This is the reverse. Either way, one of us has problems. All we're caring about is trying to fix it. It's not oppression Olympics, is what we'll put it. No one's trying to play a game of who's at the bottom the most. Because if that were the case, I could go find someone in a war-torn country who has literally no health insurance and all that. They're at the bottom.
Sure.
Because we can keep playing, because I could play that game against whoever, but and we're talking about this context, someone who's dissatisfied, someone who's, because if someone's emotional needs are not met, they're going to go insane.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
It either ends up with the child in this context beating up other students or bullying them, or the kid acting up in the household. Usually the first part happens, the latter. No, not the latter, the first. The first is what happens. They don't do that in the house, they act up in the school. The mom comes home late, gets on the telephone, finds out what the kid's been doing, and because of the neglect, creates a never-ending cycle. So 50 years from now, little Junior's over here has son, repeats the same cycle, never-ending, until someone figures it out.
Yeah, and that person hopefully is you.
I mean, yeah, I figured it out, but mine was more on the extreme side, because it was years after years after years of complaining. Well, I wouldn't say complaining, but telling. Fix this. To the point that they had to care. Well, in my world, it's all emotional. Whether it's 50 million or you're bullying or anything else that's happened in life, it's all emotional. And you're absolutely right. Without that, the necessary space to feel, to validate all your feelings, to get them all out, it just perpetuates a cycle. Absolutely, just perpetuates a cycle. So I just want to just really stress how important it is to make that space as a young adult for yourself, to let those things that happen to you, just to create just even if it's a tiny space, to give yourself feelings, to validate those feelings, whatever they were, and to make space to let those things up for you. Okay. Have you seen the cycle, whether it's your family or your acquaintances?
I haven't talked about myself much today, and it was really a wonderful opportunity. Actually, I really enjoyed getting to listen to you.
Yeah.
Yes, I have. I was always sort of the black sheep of my family. My family didn't care about feelings at all. I did a lot of arguing. Listen to me. I'm struggling through something. I'm queer. I don't understand what's wrong with me. And you're fine. A lot of that. And high school, 2 suicide attempts. And And
what did they say to that?
They found out later. They didn't know at the time. They found out later on, and
did they apologize or whatever?
Their response was largely disbelief. Like the response was to tell me, "Oh, well, I didn't know that, but you turned out fine. I mean, you're going to school. You turned out fine. It's fine, right?" That was their response.
Was it because you had a lot of siblings, or was it because they were working long hours?
Oh, they did work long hours. That is true. But both of my parents were, both of my parents were abused themselves as children, and so they gave me the best they could, by far the best they could. But there's just all sorts of things they didn't know themselves, and they didn't work on themselves, and so then they had a really sensitive queer kid who was just very different than them. And so they did the best they could. They really did. But there was just a lot of things that just didn't happen. A lot of emotional validation that just did not happen at all.
Was this in the Bay Area?
No. I'm from Louisiana.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm from Louisiana, so it's a very homophobic,
Oh,
gender normative, racist kind of place.
oh, Baton Rouge.
No, Lafayette, Lafayette,
Oh,
the next town over.
you're right.
Yeah, and I went to
I mean,
school.
I know in the South it was they prayed not only the homophobia way or whatever it's called, but for mental illness they usually go to the local church and let's just say whatever they did does not work, at least for the most part. And there's exceptions. There are those who are genuinely, I'd say, older ones who have experienced a lot, who are usually these are women. They're very nice. They're older. They usually run the church and they hug you and stuff. Those are the good ones.
Mm.
At least you probably had one of those. Whether you talk about your emotion or not, but they were very nice to you, I'm assuming.
You know, there's wonderful people anywhere. That's the
Yeah.
beautiful thing about that. You can. I'm sure if I went to a Klan meeting, I'd find at least a couple of nice people. I'm sure. I'm sure. You know. And
You're
that's something to keep in
misinformed.
mind, you know, because even when you're in those really difficult situations in life, it's easy to go, well, these people are all horrible, and that's the end of it. And if you sit there long enough, you'll find something nice about even the most horrible person, you know.
But you had were you the only child or you had like one or two siblings?
I have a younger brother. He's 2 years younger than me.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I thought it was like three kids and they couldn't worry about that, so they neglect. What? But
No, no, no.
but they had, that's no excuse. Only two. That makes no sense.
Mm. Well, hey, you know, for starters, that's a judgment. And the feeling there is confused or judgmental or
I'm mostly confused
confused. Okay, yeah.
because if it was like three or four kids, and that makes a little more sense. Not to that extent, but a little bit more. But two, that's it, including you. That makes no sense.
Well, it would probably make more sense if I keep explaining more and more and give you more detail.
Yeah, you're right.
Show you, yeah, things would things. Everybody's life makes more sense the more details you get. You know, even the craziest behavior makes more sense the more details you get. You know, people who
You can debate the last one, but
okay, well, maybe not. You never know. Give it time. You never know. When you look at someone's life, you know, you look at a Wikipedia article of someone's life, you know, there's so many sections to someone's life that can happen. And that person you are at 20, and that person you are at 15, and the person you are in your 20s, or 30s, or 40s can be very, very different. You just never know what life's going to throw you, you know, and how you're going to deal with it.
did your parents apologize later in the years? I'll take that as a no.
No, my parents never
Yes.
really apologized. No.
That's not good.
And they don't have to. They don't have to. They made whatever choices they made that was right for them. And when I became an adult, I got the right to make the choices that was right for me. So I'm not so concerned with, there was a chunk of time I wanted that apology very badly.
I mean, I don't know when's the last time you lived in your hometown. That's why I was saying that as a context.
Yeah. Well, it's been about 5-6 years now.
Oh, okay.
There was until about 30, 31, I really wanted that apology. I wanted them to recognize what I went through.
Are they retired right now?
They are retired now, yeah. And when we finally did have a conversation, which was over Thanksgiving, we had a big like blow up over Thanksgiving before we had dinner. And I got them to acknowledge several things. My father, for the first time, said, "I'm proud of you, my gay son." That was the first time he ever said that. He cried, I cried. It was a whole thing. And when it was over, maybe months later, you know, there were some other things I wanted to talk about, but they were done. They'd already had their moment. They were good. They were good. For me, this was just the beginning, really, you know, wanting to open up about things. And that's when it really hit me, like I was putting all this energy into trying to get them to give me something. Now, why the hell can't I just give it to myself? Because if I keep trying to get it from them,
It's not worth.
It's not worth it. It's not worth
It's not worth talking to those who are not willing to listen. Essentially, there are those who are unwilling to listen. Unfortunately, in this case, it was your parents.
Yeah. And I thought about the hurt I went through as a kid and how I'm healing through it now. And the one person who really needed to listen was me. It was me. I mean, I got to look at all the ways in which this ain't fun to hear. But you get older and you realize all the ways you dealt with your problems in an unhealthy way. And you have to learn a healthier ways to deal with them. No one else is going to do it for you. So you eventually have to do it all. And yeah, I can throw out a million criticisms about what my parents did wrong and how they should have did better and everything. And believe me, I could, the book I could write about all of that. The book I could write about all of that. And then the end result is I'm still here with my life as an adult. They have their lives and I can't change their life and they can't change mine.
I mean, they're retired. It's basically over now.
The raising, the parenting part is over. It's over. Yeah.
They'll regret it though. I mean, because they're retired, they'll figure it out.
Well, I should also say, since we're talking about this, we had a falling out. We had the falling out of the century about 3 years ago and have not spoken since. And so, even that moment was one of, I need to fix this. I gotta like do something. They need to listen to me. There was all those moments. And then something in me said, no, it's a lot more loving to just let go. And whatever happens, happens. I love them with all my heart. And I'm going to let them figure out what's best for them. And hopefully they love me so much that they're going to let me figure out what's best for me.
I'll say they did not fix the cycle because their parents probably did that same thing to them, and the great grandparents and all that.
There are cycle elements to all of this. Yes.
There we go.
Absolutely. And I don't have to be a part of that cycle.
Yeah, of course. You broke the cycle.
I can break the cycle.
I mean, you technically did. So that's good.
Yeah. So I mean, and the really important part about I broke the cycle is I didn't break the dynasty. I didn't fix my family. I didn't rectify anything going on with that. I took care of me. And I taught myself that I can take care of me and I can get better and better at it. So that way, when I have my own family, that family can be healthy. And then if my parents decide to call me up one day and want to be a part of that health, then I can welcome them in with a lot of love. Yeah. But it takes time. It takes time. It takes a lot of love in yourself. It takes time, bit by bit, baby steps. Yeah. All right, Mr. Pranav, I want to tell you what a pleasure it has been talking to you today. Yeah. I really appreciated you opening up and telling me about your life experiences and what you're going through, and you were willing to be this vulnerable. It really touched my heart. It really touched my heart. Yeah. If you were here in person, I would just give you the biggest hug. I would give you the biggest hug.
Yeah.
So I really hope you come next week so we can work on more exercises and we can see how things go. See if any of this material had any effect on you and talk some more, okay?
Is that next Saturday as well?
Next Saturday, same time. And there will be a video in case anything happens and you can't make it. There'll be a video, just so you know.
Oh, is this a group I need to join? Yeah, I think so. Oh, yeah. I'm a member. Okay, I'm a member. It's good. It's good.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah, you too.
Yeah. All right. Bye then.
Bye. What a sweet, so precious. Half of what he said, honestly, was, I didn't go through exactly those things, but the feelings, absolutely my story. Those feelings, so many people's story. So many of us as young people went through those things. I remember what it's like finally getting to college and wanting to lock all of those high school memories behind me. I remember what that was like. So what a brave young man to be willing to talk about those things and to take some of the questions I asked him. What a brave man. What a brave man. How beautiful. Okay, so anyone watching this is it. This is dealing with your real feelings, step by step, getting in touch with what's really going on, building skills bit by bit so you can build something loving for your life. Okay, so if you watch this video, I hope you got that message, okay? And if you'd like the help, if this interests you, please come to our classes. Okay, Saturdays 5 to 7. Look me up on Meetup. Emotions for Dummies. Okay, with Dr. Donnie. Social emotional learning with Dr. Donnie. And if you have anything you want to say, ask, question, bring up, any concerns about the class, you can shoot me an email on the Meetup page or at drdonnieemo@gmail.com. Okay, so until next week, big hugs. Congratulations on getting in touch with your feelings, and have a nice week. And I will see you next week. Okay, bye everyone.